Calculus, section 6.4, number 14. Find the derivative, simplify your answer. So for this problem, we have a quotient. We have a function y that is a quotient of two differentiable functions, e to the x in the numerator and natural log of x in the denominator. So we remember the quotient rule, and that's how we'll start. The quotient rule states that to find the derivative of a quotient of two differentiable functions, here's what you need to do. You have So the quotient rule says to find the derivative of a quotient of two differentiable functions, you do this. You have the denominator times the derivative of the numerator minus the numerator times the derivative of the denominator all over the square of the denominator. So we've applied the quotient rule, and now we'll just go ahead and we've set up the quotient rule. That's what we've done. And now we'll go ahead and do the differentiation for each of these parts from the quotient rule. So we have natural log of x multiplied by the derivative with respect to x of e to the x, which is e to the x, minus e to the x times the derivative with respect to x of natural log of x. The derivative of natural log of x is 1 over x. And then all of that over the square of the denominator. So in fact, we have done the differentiation when you get to this step. Now we'd like to simplify it. So the next easiest thing to do is just to go ahead and multiply e to the x and 1 over x. When you multiply, you can write e to the x over 1, so you have a product of two fractions. Multiply the numerators to get e to the x, multiply the denominators to get x. Can you stop here? Again, it really depends on what you're trying to achieve as far as simplification goes, but you can keep going or you can stop. One obvious thing that we can do in the numerator of our complex fraction is we have a subtraction here. And of course, natural log of x times e to the x, you can write that over 1. So how do you subtract two fractions? You need a common denominator. And the way we're going to get a common denominator is by multiplying the first fraction by x over x. So now we have a common denominator of x, and our first fraction's numerator is x times natural log of x times e to the x minus e to the x. So now we've got this in the numerator, and we're going to divide that by natural log of x squared. So how do you do that division? You have to multiply by the reciprocal, because what you have here is a fraction bar here. So how do you divide? You multiply by the reciprocal of the divisor. So when you do that, you'll multiply what you have in the numerator of this complex fraction by 1 over natural log of x squared. So when you do that, you've already taken that over to the numerator of the complex fraction. So the next step is to multiply everything through. And when you do that, this is what you get. So if you want to go one step further, in the numerator of this fraction, you have two terms. They have a common factor of e to the x. You can factor it out. And this is what you would be left with from the first term. And you'd be left with minus 1 from the second term, or 1 from the second term, and you have the subtraction. So you have minus 1 there. Now there's nothing else you can do beyond this. There's nothing you can cancel here.